Oh, this hurts. Oh, I got a long way to go to get used to this again. Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by the channel. What in the world am I doing out here on a bicycle? I am now a cyclist in a hat. So why am I giving up twisting the throttle to crank pedals? Well, a couple of things. One is COVID shut so many things down. We just were running out of places to visit by motorcycle, and we started venturing off onto trails, particularly the rail trails in the Poconos and the Lehigh Valley. We started walking them only to be frustrated by how small a distance we could cover by foot. We saw people whizzing by on bicycles, and we thought that's the way to go. So last week I picked up this bicycle, and I don't ride like I used to. I got a long way to go to get in shape. But years ago, gosh, we go up to Maine or New Hampshire for like a week and ride. I did the Canadian Rockies. I even rode from Montreal back to Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania in my late 20s. And that was long time ago, over 30 years ago, and so I've got to get out here and get in shape. But it permits us to get into areas you can't with a motorized vehicle, and the result is I'm able to venture into areas and capture footage both from the ground and from the air with drones. So we're pretty happy about that. And this hill is killing me. So without any further ado, while I suffer this hill, we'll get on with it. I hope you enjoy this. What we did is we took the car down with our new bikes to Coplay, Pennsylvania, just to give you some perspective. Allentown is over in here. Here's the Lehigh Valley Airport. Bethlehem is here, and here's Easton and Phillipsburg, New Jersey, Delaware River. And we chose the trailhead by Sailor Park. Now, at Sailor Park, it starts off with a view of these 90-foot cement kilns. It was a cement company called the Portland Cement Industry, and it was a revolutionary type of kiln which really helped Lehigh Valley become dominant in cement production. I have more on this in another video, so I'm not going to repeat myself here. I'll leave the link in the description below if you're interested. So the Ironton Rail Trail, the bulk of it was this 5-mile loop, and we went around in this direction, and you can tell by the footage, it's very pretty back in here. It's very shaded. An old train bridge Very serene, very relaxed. The pavement is in excellent shape. I was really enjoying capturing some of the video for this with the GoPro Hero 8 Black. The image stabilization is perfect. You can see my handlebars shaking around, and the video makes it look like I'm floating on air. So we came around and finished our loop, and we just stopped at this corner here just to assess how we're feeling. We haven't been on bicycles in a very long time. And we met an experienced cyclist taking a break on a bench. He filled us in about what's known as the spur. It's a couple of additional miles. It's a one-way trip out, so you have to double back. And we thought, well, we have enough gas in our tanks to try it out. And I did have an interest in seeing some of the abandoned structures out that way. The first of which that we came upon was an old an old boxcar, I guess, or a passenger car. Somewhat preserved, you can see here. It's in kind of rough shape. But kind of cool that it was set aside like that for people to take a look at as they go by. There's another building here on the right that was part of the railroad. This one really caught our eye, this 1891 firehouse. And further on ahead, I knew we were heading towards the Reliance Mill, an old cement factory. And I wanted to put the drone up and capture some photographs and some footage. Here's Ranger Lake. There's a rod and gun club over here. There's some boats I saw here, and some people were fishing over here. So let's have a look at that from the sky. So the giant cement company started off as Reliance Cement Works of the American Cement Company, which opened in 1905. In 1913, American emerged from bankruptcy as the giant cement company. And rather than spend large sums of money to bring the plant in compliance with air pollution regulations, Giant shut it down in 1970. The Coplay Cement Company acquired and reopened it in 72 before permanently ceasing cement production at the site in 75. From then on, Coplay used the facility to package cement brought in by trucks. Servicing the plant was simple: empty boxes in, loaded boxes of bagged cement out. An occasional load of bags came in by rail. The tall loading silos built to load hoppers now loaded the trucks. So I had a bit of fun flying around and gathering some footage from the air, and then it was time to head back. It was a very warm day, and we just doubled back, knowing that there were more trail ahead of us, but that's going to be for another time. And on the way back, I kind of went off the beaten path a little bit. You'll see here there's a lot of smaller trails off into the woods, and this area is loaded with old structures from previous cement mills. I did walk up this trail a bit with the bicycle, and you can barely make out a structure here from Google Earth. Here's the ground footage I captured. That was kind of cool to walk through. And we slowly made our way back to the starting point, but I do want to come back and explore this area more. I'm sure there's a lot of cool things there, and anyone watching this that's been here more than I have, maybe chime in and make some comments on what else can be seen around here. It was my first time on the trail. The only other time I was here was to film the cement kilns here at Sailor Park. And that's about it. Stay tuned for a couple of minute discussion on some of our homemade wine and and we will see you guys down the road. Hey, so I thought I would end this episode with a little bit about our hobby winery we started back in 2018. The, of course, Biker in a Hat winery. And we've been making a variety of wines now for the last 2 years, and I picked this one out for this episode. This is a Carmenere, and it was originally a grape that came from France, and then it was migrated over to Chile in South America. And this particular wine came from a relatively close brew supply store by us, and this is fresh juice. It comes in refrigerated buckets, 6 gallons worth of juice, and we fermented this back in early spring, around March, I guess I started. 6 gallons gets you about 28 bottles or so, but yeah, this is a new hobby of ours. I have the Biker in a Hat glasses, a wonderful gift from my stepson and his lovely wife. The Carmenere is very similar to Merlot. In fact, people in South America for a while there thought they were growing and making wine, which was Merlot. And it wasn't until some years later some expert came along and said, oh, here's our cat Leona. Some experts came along and said, no, you're growing and producing Carmenere wine. It's very similar to Merlot, dry red, but it has a little more of black and red berry to it, and some green peppercorn. It definitely has a little more oomph to it, in my opinion, than a Merlot, and quite happy with it. I haven't seen it in stores here in Pennsylvania, and when the juice became available earlier this year, I thought I got to try it out. It's just kind of funny. I haven't seen it in stores. The name of this particular Carmenere, I called it On Deck Carmenere for 2020 because over the last several months, my brother-in-laws and my dad and I have been rebuilding our deck. I tore down the old one. We put up something much larger. So I wanted to just honor their efforts, and I made a wine named after our deck and gave them some bottles. So let's take a sip. Yeah, I really love this stuff. And you know, homemade winemaking, I remember when I first got into this, the woman at the store said, you know, you can easily make wine as a beginner that you would pay about $20 a bottle for. Like I said, this is fresh juice. It's not hard to do. You don't have to cook anything like when you're making beer, converting starches to sugar. It's just the juice, and it's ready to go to have the yeast thrown in. Not too difficult to do, and for a few bucks a bottle, you get a wine that you have to pay quite a bit more in the stores to match. So cheers. Again, thanks for watching, and we will see you guys down the road. I could drink this all day. Hey, before you go, if you could hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching.